Hello, I'm Monika Šmídová, and this is my dad.
Luděk, Šmíd.
And I study an art school where I
Field of.
in the field of game art, which is a new field in Brno. So it's quite new. So I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't hear of it.
And that's how we actually came to using the Godot Game Engine, which we would like to talk about today, because my daughter needed help with some projects for school. She's not very good at coding. I'm really bad at drawing. So we combined the skills, and she did most of the work. And the teachers accepted that I did a little bit of coding, because otherwise it would be pretty difficult to do everything on her own. So that's what we would like to talk about, Godot Game Engine. And first of all, what it is. What it is, a game engine. Before diving into this, we have about 5-6 slides, and then we have live demo. So we'll actually show you how to code or build a very simple game.
Very, very simple one.
Yeah, what you can do in 15 minutes. So do not expect miracles, Doom 4 or something like that. So Godot Game Engine is an open source game engine. It's basically integrated development environment where you can, I say, build your game. I don't specifically say code your game, because coding is just part of the whole experience. And it's, I would say, on par with Unity, maybe, but it's community driven, so not as good, but without paywalls, with great help, a lot of videos. We'll talk about those later. But before diving into details, let's swap. First of all,
we wanted to show that in Godot that even like big companies make games in it. For example, Doom Keeper, that is on Steam and sold about 500,000 copies, I think. And Potato, which is also on Steam and also made in Godot. So quite a big game also.
So what we're not talking about a niche engine. This is something being used for very serious kind of work.
But also it's big in the indie game community, where even small one-team games are made. For example, on itch.io, which is a platform where you can for free publish your games, which don't have to be even like finished. There's like over 50,000 results with the tag of Godot. So as you can see, there's quite a big community around it, even on itch.io.
So again, that speaks about that we are not talking about something that just a couple of people are interested in and moving forward. So
why Godot Engine, Dad?
Honestly, I did try some low-level libraries, but that was kind of a lot of work. Like if you may like Raylib or SDL or things like that, but you basically coding everything from bottom up, like you get just very basics. And when this is a hobby, not a job, you have limited amount of time, right? So you get all the help you can. On the other hand, there are some lighter weight tools like Scratch or Scratch Junior or GDevelop. Those were not powerful enough. They are very great for starting, especially for kids or teenagers. But they were not enough for the school project. And when you want to do something more complex, they start to get into your way. So that's why Godot was the tool of choice. And we'll give you a little bit of quick overview what it is. You'll see it in live, in action, a little bit later. But to give you a little bit of what it is, it's basically 2D and 3D engine. So you can build 2D games with it, with physics, or 3D game engine with physics. Depends on which scene you pick. It has pretty powerful user interface. It's actually being used for building standalone applications. The Godot itself is coded in Godot. So it's actually interesting. So like the whole UI you'll see, that's native for the engine. It has a very nice integrated editor and debugger. It's joy to work with. and investigate the scene. We will not show that. Hopefully, we won't do many mistakes today. And if you need to write code, which you will, not every game is just a couple of sprites moving around. You can use C#, which I don't. My background is in Python, so I do love GD script, which is derived from Python. It's not Python, but it shares some properties. You'll see maybe 4 codes of it today, so nothing big. And the other part is that it has tons of plugins. Like if you need to work with some kind of, I use word AI, and I mean a code that drives enemies on the screen. That's not the large language model. That's something completely different, much simpler. But there are plugins for that, for behavior trees and for other ways how to deal with complex logic. It has great documentation. I love that. My daughter, she loves active community, right?
Yes, of course.
Especially on YouTube.
There's always, and when you have a problem, there's at least one random guy making a tutorial about it while his cat is meowing in the background, and maybe he's like yumming on his chips or something. But it works, right? That's what counts.
Yeah,
so.
It shows a generation difference, right? I do read documentation and Google. She just types something into the YouTube, and 10 minutes later she's smarter than I am. So. And to get a little bit more serious note, this is not write once, run everywhere, but you can deploy to all the major platforms. Like if you are successful, you can even get help to deploy this to PlayStation or Xbox, but that's not for free. Those are consultation companies that can help you to get your game there, but that's not our intention at all. Now, we are very happy with web browser support, because that's very good for HIO. There's a free distribution platform, and support for Windows, macOS, Linux. It's always welcome. So that was the boring technical stuff. We were promising some hints about how to start. My daughter is much more skilled in that or experienced in that with me. So how would you start your first game?
How I would start? I would rather say how to start overall your first game. I think it's important to choose a topic you're passionate about, or that's important to you, because game developing is quite time-consuming thing. Even though I would recommend for your first game to take up something like short, simple, easily done, so you don't get stuck on your first project and burn out and don't enjoy it at all, which a little bit happened to me, but...
the environment?
Yeah. How I said, if you're passionate about something, maybe you like themes of, maybe you like gardening, so you make a game about gardening, or you like the game mechanics, so you come up with a really fun mechanic of movement or something like that. And then you stick with it and try to build on top of that. Totally for your first project, don't try 3D or something crazy, because, how I said, rather simple.
Yeah. We've been there, failed at that multiple times. It's not a good way how to do it if you have just a couple of hours per week or something like that.
And I suppose most of you are not really people that focus on graphics.
Like me.
Then I would recommend using, for example, free assets that are on internet, or their catalogs that you can use, for example. So if you're not really into that, then I recommend borrowing these pictures online. Totally skip sounds, don't worry about them. Even they're important in the immersion, but I don't think we are making some crazy game. So, and if you end up finishing it or getting it to a point where it's playable, then you can publish it, for example, on the HIO page and see feedback from others online, because it's quite a nice community of indie developers that like to play each other's games. Also, very important, testing. Make your friends, your wife, your daughter, your grandma, whoever, make them play it, because it's very important to see how the player interacts with the game. To maybe you'll figure out that some mistakes you made are actually in the end quite fun. For example, my classmate made a game where the character had a problem that it started floating randomly, And in the end, it was like really fun to play with it. So they kept it in the final game. So totally
it's
recommend
not a bug,
that.
it's feature.
Exactly. So now it's time for the demo,
Yeah,
right?
I'll disappear from the screen because I need to sit and type things and etc. But before we start, we did use a Creative Commons asset. So there's a link over there. Like you can find them, in multiple places. This is the one I actually do like for short experiments because they have PNG graphics, they have SVG graphics, they have sprite sheets. Now it's pretty nice packages just for some home coding. So, and you will notice this is Windows machine. Don't throw apples, please, or something like that. So we'll go from very scratch. My daughter will be commenting because it's very difficult to talk, type, and think. I can do at most one of those at one time.
Well, sometimes I will ask my dad about something because how we said I'm not the best with the coding part of making games. So sometimes he will say something.
I'll start with creating brand new project. So we'll be doing shooting duck game. I'll just...
We will name it Duck because that's very creative and why not?
So I'll just put it somewhere on my drive. I'll stick with compatibility renderer because of, it does support WebGL. It means I can publish it on the web eventually. And I just click create. It will take a couple of seconds. And we are in. This is it.
That's the space you will work most of the time, multiple hours and hours on hours with. So as you can see, there are files you can import here. You can just drag and drop, classic. Here you have on the nodes you have in your scene, which is this. This is your scene. The rectangle, no. Rectangle, yeah. Rectangle, that's what your player will see on their screen. So anything around it, anywhere else, they won't see. So remember that. And on the right side, there is an inspector, which will show different properties and different things you can do with your nodes when you click on them. We'll show that later.
Okay. So let's start building the scene. First of all, I need the assets. So this is the directory that Godot created for me. There's basically nothing in there. There's some icon, some basic configuration. So I'll grab the assets I've got already online. And as you can see, they got imported here. So these are my pictures. And let's start with just building some background. So I'll just grab the background. And you can see in the inspector here, I can start setting properties. So I want anchor left, top left. I'll move it. Oh, sorry.
By the way, these sprites are tileable sprites, which means they are not meant to be just stretched like regular picture, but you can tile them on top, next to each other, so they fill up the whole screen. Normally, when you have your own picture, just drop it and it works, but my dad has to stretch it up, tile it up.
I'm just saying that the actual sprite is bigger than this texture I just imported. So, but this doesn't look the way I would like to, right? I mean, it's really distorted. So in the texture field, I'll just set the repeat, and I'm there. Now I do it 3 more times. So I'll grab some grass.
So you can remember properly, right?
Yes. Move it maybe in the middle of the screen.
In the meantime, you can see when we drop the picture or any PNG or something, they appear right on the left top window, which automatically creates a node which you can work with later, which is like, how to describe a node?
Okay.
It's just an...
An item.
An item that you can work with later.
Okay, I made my first mistake, which is great. I need to rearrange the tree a little bit because I forgotten to create the scene the right way.
This is quite normal while you're programming, making mistakes and trying to correct them in time so you can make it.
We are in a good shape. So we have the background, we have the grass. I still need to set the texture. And I'll do the same with the water. I'm just looking at the size here, so I know how to stretch it. And the last.
By the way, as we said, all these assets are from Kenny on the page we showed earlier in our presentation, if you were wondering. So we give the credits.
Okay, so let's say this is our basic scene. Didn't take that long, right? We built it from tile-level sprites. If you want to run the game,
you can.
You can. What we need to do is pick the default scene, which is the one we're just working on. So we'll just pick select current. I save it. And this is it. This is the game. I mean, start the basic of it, right? I won't be describing like all the debugging things here because you can start picking the elements of the scene. You can see, modify it on the fly, etc. But that's not the topic for today. You can play with that at home. But it's pretty boring. So let's make it a little bit better. So I'll add maybe some trees, just like that. Maybe one more and make it a little bit bigger. And
how about some clouds?
Okay.
Clouds are pretty.
Let's build some clouds. So we have clouds.
I don't think that how clouds work. Like normally when I go outside, there aren't sticked on top of the trees. I think maybe we could fix that somehow.
Yeah, and that's actually what you were talking about. The ordering is important because in the tree, this is a simple tree, right? But the objects are drawn from the beginning, from the first one to the end one, so to the last one. So if I grab all those clouds and move them just after the blue sky, suddenly they look right. So when you move things around, it does have an impact on how the objects are being drawn. So we can run it again, same thing with clouds and some trees. So far, so good.
It's pretty, but nothing much is happening, is it? Is there?
Yes.
Maybe we could gamify it somehow since we're making a game, right?
Yes.
Some interaction, maybe.
So adding the duck that we promised, right? This one is more complicated because we don't want just simple sprite that doesn't interact with anything. The background is just background, right? We want to be able to click it. So we need to set some other properties to it. So first of all, I need to create an object that's I'll rename to duck. This is basically an object that works with sprites and collision areas. Now I can add some sprites to it. So this will be my duck. I have it over here. I can I will not drag the duck just into the screen. I'll just drag it into the texture field. So now my duck's over here. It's perfectly fine that it's on top left. We'll deal with it later. I also want to add one more sprite because we want to shoot it, so there should be a shot, right, in the duck. I'll somehow scale it a little bit, and we don't want to be visible, right? I mean, it's alive first, so let's just hide it.
I hope it's not alive at first. I hope it's like paper duck, maybe.
Yeah, okay, maybe. And now we need to add collision. This is basically a shape that defines the size of the object. And you don't do pixel perfect collision. That's very computational intensive, so you simplify these things. One of the simplification is the circle. So I'll just set the radius a little bit bigger than the sprite. So we give some help to player. So there are no, this is better than making it smaller, because then you think you clicked it and nothing happened. And I renamed the sprite for the shot to shot. And now I move the whole duck, all 4 objects somewhere into the scene. I can move it. I can run it, sorry. And this is it. I click it, nothing happens, right? Perfect. So,
is that what's supposed to happen, right?
Yeah, well, we'll need to do one more thing. We need to write some code, because this is not reacting to event is not something you can do automatically. So first of all, I need to attach a script. So I'll do duck.gd. I'll use the gd script. And now when I click on the duck and the node, I have all the events it can react to. This is not just this is the events from area 2D. This is events from collision object, etc. What I'm interested in is the input event from collision object. So I want to connect this to this event. I have the duck object selected, so I just click connect. And here's my piece of code where I can write what to do with it. So it's going to be very simple. I'm not going for
nothing complicated.
Nothing complicated, right? And now the reason why I named one of the sprites shot is that I don't have to do anything fancy. I just say, okay, I want to work with the child named Shot.
By the way, I recommend naming all your sprites and nodes, because otherwise it gets really, really messy, really, really quick. Like after couple.
Yeah. I know. I'm a little bit nervous. Okay, thank you. Did help. So we have script, and now we can. All it does is, if we click it, it just toggles the visibility of the shot. Nothing fancy again. So when we run it, yay!
Woo!
It does something. Still very boring, right?
It's
challenge.
A game, I guess.
I don't have to even move the mouse and just keep clicking, and that's about it. So let's make it a little bit more alive.
Let's move the duck.
Let's move the duck. So
how do we move the duck, Dad?
Yes. Do I need to write some code?
I don't think so. That will be too complicated for me. I couldn't do that. And I can do some animation without drawing too, so there must be something to make it easier, right?
Yes. There is something that's called animation player, which actually helps to write some simple animations. So let's make a new animation. Let's make it 10 seconds long. I want to start it from the beginning, and I want to loop it. So this is our animation. Just let me fix it so we can see it on the screen. And the way you animate here with this object is you basically set the keyframes. If you ever work with a video editing software, it's similar. So I just pick the duck again, move it here, and I'm on the 0 second of the animation, so I just create a key. And now I have the duck recorded for the beginning of the animation. I move it to the end, move the duck to the right-hand side, record it again. So now I have two keyframes. One is at the 0 second, it's over here, then it's over here, but you can see like, it does move depending on how I adjust the time. When you play it, and like you can use this to move the water, trees, you can use this to rotate the objects, you can recolor them. Yeah,
you can like change the texture, you can like almost like anything you can change by this animation player.
So basically now when I click it,
a little bit of challenge, maybe like rather challenge or for a small kid, but it's something at least.
So it's a little bit choppy. I'm not sure why. Didn't work that way at home, but yes, maybe.
Linux.
We have 10 minutes left, roughly, less than that. We can either go to questions and have 10 minutes, or we can show you how to make very easily a second, maybe third duck with some magic called scenes and objects. Up to you. Who wants to see second duck?
Raise hands. Okay.
Okay.
Lot of second ducks.
Let's do second duck. So I'll just.
Can the second duck hide behind the trees?
We can do that. Let's see what it does with
like you mean behind like running behind the trees? Yeah. We can try that. Can you try it?
Yes, we can do that. It's going to be fun. So.
Well, like we didn't rehearse that, but sure.
The first thing I really don't want to just duplicate the objects. That would be stupid. So the first thing I'll do is I make a separate scene where there's just the duck, nothing else. So I'll just use save branches as a scene and save it. This way, this is no longer multiple objects. It's just one object. And when I look at the scene over here, this is where our duck is. So now I created a separate scene that's basically an object. I can deal with it as such. So when I go back to the original world and I just call instantiate child scene, I can add my duck, and there was a request to put it behind the trees, so I put it higher into the tree. I move it somewhere here. Pick an animation. So I need to pick an animation player. I have my duck. I record it over here because there's another there's a separate animation. I move the time and move the second duck. Record it again. Pray a little bit. See if it works.
Whoa, she's hiding. Can you catch her?
I assume there will be a problem because I think you can shoot the duck behind the tree, of course. Because I would have to define the collision area for the tree and do some other magic. But let's call this a demo done. Thanks for the help.
How much time we have for the questions? 7 minutes.
7
awesome.
Minutes. Okay. So I'll just stop.
Deploy it somewhere, like at least local browser?
Not now because I don't think I have templates imported. So I don't have anything imported. This is a brand new installation of Godot. I don't want to show you any plugins or anything. So, but you basically go to project, export, and then add the target. What do you want to? I would have to do Windows desktop in this case. But now I need to download about half a gig of data that contains the engine and some assets and all of that. But it's really about just going through this within the engine, and it creates exe file for you, or the ELF file for Windows, etc.
So from this point to deploy it on Windows, it's just basically straightforward, just few clicks, no code, no nothing.
Yes, no code, no nothing, just pew pew with your mouse button.
Okay.
So, do you have any question? But first, before that, I have to tell you a secret. There's a QR code, and on the QR code there are my games on itch.io. So maybe you could play them or something like that. Maybe leave me some feedback because I really need it, to be honest. And I would love to see some comments or something like that. So, but I'm not making you like do it. But please.
So there was a question how to deploy the games. You can do it via clicking. The engine also has a command line. So on Linux, it's actually very convenient to set export this there, set this flag, set this icon, etc. So you don't have to do it like every time. That helps a lot, especially when you get to the point where you iterating multiple times on deployment. Because when you deploy anything anywhere, like even the itch.io, you need to create assets. You need to see how it looks. Maybe some events will not work as you expected. We work with the mouse, but touch events are a little bit different. So you need to make sure they are configured. You can say touch events are mouse events in the editor, but it needs a little bit of debugging and a couple of cycles to get it right. Okay.
When you started the project, you chose a compatibility mode.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any real limitations on which compatibility mode you should accept that you cannot release it for some system?
We have to repeat the question.
Yeah. I know. So there was a question about why compatibility mode, why not the others. So yeah. So I chosen compatibility because I honestly, with what I do at home as a hobby, I don't care about performance. Whatever I do, it will not kill the computer. So I'm perfectly fine. The moment I do worry about deploying to the web. That's the only mode that supports the web deployment. The other two, using Vulkan as a renderer or some others, so they are much better. But it's not worth for me the effort because I really want to hit the audience without asking them to download some files.
Yeah, people are more willing most of the time to play your games if they can just click one button and it just starts on the browser without downloading anything. So.
But if you do anything 3D, I would not recommend the compatibility mode. I mean, once you go behind thousands of objects or facets, it shows. The other two are much advanced in terms of performance.
Is it in the animation phase where you know it's stuck? Is it does Godot allow you to add some variance into the Godot's movement, some randomization, or do you have to do key frames for everything?
So
the question was if we can add some variation to the animation by not just clicking manually, but given by the Godot.
You can use Bezier curves, but I don't know if you can programmatically change it because of what it basically does. It interpolates the positions. So if you would want to do some random movement, I would probably default to code in this case. Because the animation pair, at least the one we used, or the mode, that it's really good for curves, direct transitions, if you want to change the colors, blend the objects, because you can rotate the things, etc. But it's not good at calling. It can call your method. So you can do some magic and then do something to the sprite. So you can you can do things maybe this way, but I didn't try it yet. So.
Any more questions?
Okay.
Seems. Oh, okay.
Back to the duck behind you, right?
Yeah.
Luděk, you mentioned that pixel perfect
Collisions?
collision boxes are expensive. In this case, this would probably solve it. I'm surprised it does not have optimized algorithm.
So there was a question about why not pixel perfect collision, or if it's part of the engine. And my answer is I do not know if it's there. I never tried. Because from the debugging viewpoint, I much rather prefer the collision areas. Because when you run your game, you can turn on the collision areas so you can see them. So then, if it's pixel perfect, you never know what you clicked. But like you can run the game, you can see those blue circles and polygons and rectangles, and you know what's happening. Because if there's sometimes when there's multiple objects on the scene, it gets very confusing very quickly. So that's why I default to this. I never tried anything pixel perfect because of I can see it with my own eyes and don't have to guess that much. Yeah. One last? Do we have? Okay, so we can talk in the corridor then. Thanks a lot for your.
Thank you all.